Pope Francis' funeral is set to be held on Saturday at St. Peter's Basilica. In Hong Kong, the Airport Express has proposed to raise its fares for the first time in 8 years, with an average hike of 9.4%. And police kick off a 3-month trial using existing traffic surveillance cameras to issue fines for traffic violations at 4 high-congestion intersections in Hong Kong Island. Good evening. You are watching Cable News. I'm Amplify. Global tributes continue to pour into the Vatican as the world mourns the death of the Pope Francis. The 88-year-old Argentinian, who is best remembered as the People's Pope, will lie in state at St. Peter's Basilica starting tomorrow, before his funeral on Saturday. Sachin Kadvi reports.
The funeral for Pope Francis will be held on Saturday at 10 a.m. Rome time. In addition to the thousands of faithful, leaders and dignitaries from around the world, which include Javier Milei, the president of Argentina, his U.S. counterpart Donald Trump, French President Emmanuel Macron, and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, will head to the Italian capital. The coffin carrying Francis will be transferred to St. Peter's Basilica tomorrow, where he will lie in state. Over the next 3 days, members of the public will be allowed to pay their last respects before the funeral, which will be held in St. Peter's Square, the piazza outside the Basilica. Yesterday, 88-year-old Francis died after suffering a stroke and cardiac arrest. He had undergone treatment for pneumonia before discharge from hospital earlier this month. In his last act as the head of the Catholic Church, Francis blessed thousands of people who had gathered in St. Peter's Square on Easter Sunday. Keeping with the tradition, after a pope dies, the papal apartment has been sealed, even though Francis did not live in the Apostolic Palace and preferred to stay in the modest Casa Santa Marta, the Vatican guest house. The Camerlengo, Cardinal Kevin Farrell, is the acting head of the Vatican for now and will look over the arrangements for the funeral. He will also preside over the conclave later, during which the College of Cardinals will vote to elect a new pope. Conducted in strict secrecy inside the Sistine Chapel, the conclave is supposedly held following 9 days of mourning after the Pope's funeral. Sachin Kadvi, Cable News.
Beijing expressed its condolences today following the death of Pope Francis, pledging to work with the Vatican to promote the continuous improvement of bilateral relations. Separately, in Hong Kong, dozens of Catholics gathered at the Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception in Central for the morning Mass to honor Pope Francis.
中方对方济各教皇去世表示哀悼。
In the daily news briefing today, Foreign Ministry's spokesman Guo Jiakun said China and the Vatican have maintained constructive contact and carried out friendly exchanges in recent years, adding that Beijing is willing to make joint efforts with the Vatican to promote the continued improvement of China-Vatican relations. Meanwhile, at the Catholic Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception in Central, a photograph of the late pontiff, surrounded by flowers and white candles, was displayed, with a condolence book for mourners to express their prayers. The city's Catholic leader, Cardinal Stephen Chow, was among those who came to pay respect to the pontiff and penned his thoughts of him in the condolence book. Mourners entered the cathedral to pay their respects in somber silence. In the forthcoming days, the condolence facility at the cathedral will be available to the public from 7 in the morning to 7 in the evening. In other local news, the MTR Corporation has proposed an average increase of 9.4% in fares for its Airport Express, with the new fares expected to be effective in June. Basilica has more details.
Under the proposal, ticket prices for adults will inflate between 5% to 18.2%. A single ride between Hong Kong Station and the airport or Asia World Expo using an Octopus card will cost $120, while the trip between Kowloon or Qingyi Station and the airport will increase by $5 and $8 respectively. Without using an Octopus card, a single trip ticket will cost $10 to $15 more, while traveling between the airport and Asia World Expo needs to pay $1 more. For commuters opting for a return ticket good for 30 days, a flat rate of $10 will be added to the current price. MTR explained that while the airport's passenger traffic is recovering, the airport rail service is affected by many factors, including competition from other public transport and changes in business travel pattern. Since its passenger traffic had only returned to about 70% of the pre-pandemic level so far, it had been facing financial challenges. It has been 7 years since Airport Express's last fare adjustment in 2017, which was also the only price change since the provision of Airport Express services in 1990. The rail operator added that the proposed overall increase is lower than the city's cumulative inflation rate of 13.8% since the last fee change. Basilica, Cable News.
Police have launched a trial program using Transport Department surveillance cameras to combat traffic violations on Hong Kong Island, targeting 4 congestion-prone black spots during peak hours. Kun Ting-yang reports.
The pilot scheme, which began this week, aims to address illegal parking, unloading in restricted zones, and double yellow line stops, which the police identified as key contributors to post-Easter traffic gridlock. As the city's business districts regain their usual bustle, the force plans to record footage at the 4 spots covering the intersections of Ice House Street, Petter Street, and Bonham Strand East, with Queen's Road Central and the junction of Queen's Road East and Wong Nai Chung Road. Unlike 24/7 automated systems, officers will manually monitor footage at selected times to prioritize violations causing significant disruptions. Violators will receive fines after driver verification, though the cameras lack facial recognition capabilities, limiting their use against offenses like jaywalking. Superintendent of Traffic Management Nim Hai Kwon explained, the approach balances resource efficiency with impact. Our focus isn't penalizing every minor breach, but tackling those that endanger others or severely block traffic. He noted enforcement will concentrate on peak periods with flexibility after 7 p.m. as congestion eases. The 3-month trial could expand citywide if successful, though critics question why cameras aren't operated round the clock. Police stress the system complements rather than replaces physical patrols, a response to rising public frustration over chronic bottlenecks in Central's narrow streets. Kun Ting-yang, Cable News.
As the city's public hospital emergency rooms will increase fees to $400, patients who leave during long waits and seek care elsewhere can claim a $350 refund, officials have announced. Commissioner for Primary Healthcare Peng Fei Chao outlined the scheme in a newspaper op-ed, stressing that fee adjustments and refund policy align with the government's dual goals of strengthening primary healthcare networks and restructuring public funding. Under the new system, patients who leave ER queues for treatment at general outpatient clinics or private practices may apply for a $350 refund. The hospital authority will formalize the refund arrangement as a permanent feature, according to Peng. However, lawmakers have criticized the refund process as cumbersome. Legislator Rebecca Chan noted that while fees are paid instantly, refunds issued via check, credit card, or e-wallet often take weeks. She urged the HA to streamline this system to match the convenience of payments, highlighting administrative inefficiencies. The government has unveiled its latest plan for the East Kowloon Smart and Green Mass Transit system, including a new Lam Tin North station and elevated rail sections. The updated plan is set for discussion at Kwun Tong District Council next Monday. Kun Ting-yang tells us more.
The East Kowloon line, initially proposed in the 2023 policy address, will now feature a 7-kilometer elevated and underground transit line, with an additional station between Ma-Yau-Tong and Yau-Tong East, bringing the total number of stations to 9. The newly added Lam Tin North Station will be built near Tuc Tin Estate and Lam Tin Park, improving access for residents in the densely populated area. Ventilation facilities and tunnel portals will be constructed at Lam Tin Park, while design flexibility has been retained for potential future extensions to areas like T1 Shan. Meanwhile, the underground tracks originally planned for the section have been shifted to an elevated structure to reduce costs and construction challenges. The plan also relocates Shang'an Station closer to United Christian Hospital, with covered walkways to enhance connectivity. The authority also unveiled that the $10 billion project will adopt the city's signature Rail Plus property development model to offset construction costs. The proposed Ma-Yau-Tong depot and adjacent land north of Poland Road will be rezoned for mixed commercial and residential use. Spanning over 6 hectares, the site will allow total floor space of up to 480,000 square meters, aiming to unlock development potential and generate revenue through property partnerships. Officials confirmed the government is finalizing technical specifications and funding models after reviewing operator proposals, with a target operational date set for 2033. Kun Ting-ya, Cable News.
Now let's take a look at the stock market. The Hang Seng Index ended the day up 167 points. Top added stocks of the day. Checker Fund was up 18 cents. Alibaba was up $1.30. Tencent was up $2.40, and SMIC was up 60 cents. Hong Kong's jobless rate remains steady at 3.2% in the first 3 months of the year, aligning with market expectations. Data from the Census and Statistics Department show that the number of unemployed individuals rose by around 11,100 to 122,800 in the January to March period. Over the same period, the underemployment rate also remained unchanged at 1.1%, with the number of underemployed persons increasing by around 2,000 to 42,700. Commenting on the latest figures, Labor and Welfare Secretary Chris Sun said the increasingly uncertain external environment due to escalated trade conflicts may weigh on hiring sentiment in some sectors. However, with the stimulus measures from the central government and the policies introduced by the SAR government, the local employment market is expected to receive a boost, Sun added. Onto the weather now. Mostly overcast, while the visibility in some areas will be relatively low tomorrow morning. It will be hot with sunny period during the day. The maximum temperature will be around 30 degrees. Expect 1 or 2 showers later. That's our news tonight. I'm Evelyn Bai. Thanks for watching and good night.